Hello again, I am Mickey. I am not your mama's minister, and today we are going to be talking about whether or not you can work with a deity or a spirit or a saint or whatever that isn't of your religious path. Absolutely, you totally can. And the nice thing about it is that the divine world and the spirit world, they're absolutely not fucking interested in our jealousy and our possessiveness and um, oh, this is the one true God and this is the right path to heaven and so forth and so on. They're not interested in that. As far as they're concerned, that's a bunch of human bullshit. So, so what you can do for your own comfort is if you are wanting to, let's say you're pagan and you want to work with one of the saints, but you're not quite comfortable working with the saint like the Catholics would work with the saint or pray to the saint, petition the saint. And so, um, and sorry about the pray to the saint. Catholics don't actually pray to saints. They ask the saints to pray for them. That was a huge argument when my mom was still alive. We were constantly arguing, not constantly, but regularly arguing about that. So, um, what was I saying? Oh, that's right. And so when you are working with them, it is absolutely acceptable on their point to, by their standards, for you to adapt. So, for example, let's use somebody, the Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary is primarily petitioned by Christians or Judeo Christian religions and Catholics. And so, but when you are working with Mary, if you are sitting there and you're a pagan and you're like, I'm not really fucking comfortable with the novena that is already there or the prayer that is already established and some church has set it down. And so how do you adapt that? You adapt it the same way that you would for any other person that you're talking to. For example, when I'm talking to my dad, I try very hard not to use fuck so often. I don't use that word that often because it kind of makes him cringe, and I don't want my dad to cringe. And so I go ahead and adapt my speech to the person that I'm talking to. And so that I make the receipt of what I'm saying um, mean something because that person knows that I've adapted my speech for them, or even if they don't know, they appreciate that I am speaking in a way that they can accept or understand or be okay with, like I said about the cussing thing. And so when you are doing an adaptation for Virgin Mary and you want to adapt it and turn it into something a little more pagan, there is nothing wrong with you changing those words and creating those words so that they feel comfortable for you. Mary is not going to throw a fit and be like, oh, fuck you, I'm not helping you. And the same goes vice versa. If a Christian is wanting to work with one of the other deities, if a Baptist is wanting to work with a saint, if a Mormon is wanting to work with an Aztec god. And you see where I'm going with that? It's completely adaptable. It's completely, I mean, we have the Catholic Church coming in and taking over specific regions of the world, and with that, the existing deities were adapted to the Catholic saints, and so and kind of transformed and meshed and melded together and that kind of thing. And so there is nothing wrong with you doing that. It is just as powerful. There are some people that will tell you that it's not as powerful. It is. It absolutely is. Because you have to remember that all of this is where your comfort is. And so that you are not doing it with that kind of, oh, I don't want to say amen, that kind of thing. So I think that's it. Absolutely feel free to. In fact, you can look up a lot of the Santeria and Voodoo and Candomblé. There's so many different religious paths that use an adaptation of saints and deities. And so work with it, play with it, find out which ones work for you. If you feel an affinity for one, but you can't seem to figure out how to adapt it so that it fits right for you, drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to walk you through it and kind of help you with that. And sometimes I'm good with words, sometimes. So I think that's it for today, and yeah, I think so. I love you, many blessings, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. I will talk to you soon.